Happy Friday evening, Scoop family and Buckeye Nation. Listen, week 2, we got another game tomorrow in the shoe. Another beautiful day. I don't know if y'all saw the forecast. It's another beautiful day. Listen, we don't take this for granted here in Ohio because you just never know. All right, it's cold and rainy, ridiculously hot, just in between, but it's been perfect. And so we're excited about another game in the shoe tomorrow and also looking forward to seeing what young pups will bite. We'll talk about that. But first, do me a favor, please like the video, like the video, like the video. Do that for me now. In the chat, what's up, Barb? Stilly Matt. What's good, everybody? Bucks Forever 65. What's up? What's up, y'all? Appreciate y'all. Mark Swick. Love y'all, man. Just wanted to take some time to show y'all some love. Also, remember, any super chats you send tonight will help to go to our Pay It Forward, which is our military first responders. We going to take care of them because they take care of us. You know the drill. Let's bring Nevada in. Sir, how are you feeling today? You excited about this game tomorrow?
I am excited. It's like, I get excited about every game for different reasons. Obviously, last week's game had some historical context.
Yeah,
It was the biggest opener of all time in college football. The numbers were borne out. It was the largest television rated opener of
crazy.
all time. Crazy numbers, crazy excitement. Now this week's kind of exciting for different reasons. We're going to get a chance to see a lot of guys who we didn't see the first time around. And I think what people have to understand is in this new world order of college football, these games take on kind of a different type of importance because you want to showcase these other guys and you want to give them a chance because if you don't, they'll pull out. And that never, transferring before used to be kind of an isolated, kind of crazy. Wow, this guy transferred and he sat. We can still remember when John Kerr did it, or
Yeah.
Justin, Boren or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know, now they'll go in a heartbeat if they feel they're not playing, they don't feel that they've been slighted, they don't feel like they have a path to the field. So you've got to play guys, and you've got to play them early, and you've got to play them often. So a game like this is a perfect opportunity to play some of those guys that maybe you didn't get enough to the first game against Texas, or guys that you want to see, or guys that you just want to give a cookie to for in terms of doing it. And I think that's what Ohio State's going to be doing tomorrow. And it's going to be a fun game from that perspective. So you got to have the roster out so you can see all the numbers and know exactly who the guys are out in the field, because there's going to be a lot of unfamiliar faces, unfamiliar numbers out there, and that's what makes games like that particularly fun.
Yep. Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that, Nevada. And I mean, it's funny. And I'm going to show a quick clip, Nevada, of the Grambling coach talking about this matchup, which was great to me. Although it got some weird responses from people, but just people are just goofy. But anyway, we know what this is. The Grambling coach knows what this is. We know what it is. The players and the coaches know what it is. They have to go out and play and execute. Like this team, to me, listen, I know this is going to be a bloodbath. I get that. But I guarantee you, Coach Day and that staff is saying, listen, how are you going to step up and be ready to play in a game against an opponent that is chasms away from who you just played? Can you get up for this game and execute as if it's Texas again out there? I'm telling you, that's what the coaches are saying. Can you go out there and put your foot on their neck and just knock them out immediately? This is an inferior opponent. God bless Grambling State. I hope their band comes and rocks it. But let's be honest. So go out there, play clean, execute, get out after the second quarter, injury free, and let these young pups get in and bite. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it's about. Get in, knock them out, let Lincoln get in, let Tavian get in, let Turbo Rogers and Bo Jackson and Sanchez play even more, and Will Smith, whoever. That is what we want to see. So, but it starts with the starters, right? Nevada, get out there and handle business so the pups can get in.
Well, yeah, and then when they get in, these games are kind of a no-win situation for a coach like Ryan Day, because if he keeps the foot on the throttle, he gets accused of being a big meanie, and you're running up the
Right.
score on poor, outdated, outmanned, Grambling State. And how could you do that? And how can you be throwing in the third quarter up 48-0? You know what I'm saying? Um,
Right.
but on the other hand, if you bring in Lincoln, or you bring in Tavian St. Clair, or you bring in Trevor Rogers, and all you do is run right into the middle of the line every time, what
Yeah.
are you doing? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's like, so my opinion, and this may be a minority view, this may be, I don't really know where this is going to fall on the spectrum. I think you play the game. I think you play the Grambling's getting paid $1 million to come out and play. You come out and play your game. And I'm not saying you leave the starters in the whole time, but when you bring the back, when Lincoln comes in, he deserves to have the opportunity to run the offense, to run
Yeah.
the real offense and throw the ball and move the ball around. And I'd say the same thing for Tavian St. Clair. And it's Grambling's job to stop it, but it doesn't help us at all to just go out there and run the essentially take a knee every time we're on offense in the third quarter on because we're afraid of criticism. And I don't know, you and I didn't get a chance to talk about this in the pre-show, but where do you fall on that? Do you fall on the you have to take your foot off the gas with an inferior opponent, or are you on the thing of that we should keep rolling, or what, or again, I'd be interested to hear your point of view on that.
It okay to me. It's very nuanced. It's a case by case situation. In this particular case with Grambling and how inferior they are, you got to be careful. So this is to be safe. What I would do is bringing Lincoln in. I wouldn't be taking like super deep shots, down the field. I'll be throwing some, intermediate routes, some passes to the flats. I would maybe run Lincoln a few times to, get that out there. I just wouldn't completely clown. Just because, yeah, as a coach, you get some pushback for that. So definitely don't run it just up the middle and just for 2 yards just to be nice. You got to do something. Throw the ball around a little bit. I'm just saying, don't go all verticals and just try to, what I'm saying? There's a balance with that because, like it or not, there is backlash from the coaching community and just from the circles. And I mean, to me, it's levels to it. You can care a certain amount. I think Day cares because he's classy, but he also knows he has to get his guys some work. So I think there's an in between there to where you're not going completely crazy, but you're also not going completely, trestle, with who was the offensive coordinator that I could not stand?
Jim
Jim
Bowman.
Bowman. Yeah. So that's my answer to that.
Yeah, no, it's such a conundrum because I feel like you've only got 12 regular season games, and you really need to use these to build and to get better. And even if this is a glorified scrimmage or whatever, however you want to approach it, but even in a scrimmage, when you do a scrimmage, you don't just run into the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like you run your offense, you give your guys a chance to go make plays and things like that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, obviously from a betting standpoint, you're trying to figure out when are they going to call off the dogs? Because I think the
Right.
line's like 55 or 55 and a half or something like that, which is I'm not saying it's the biggest spread that I've ever seen at Ohio State, but I don't remember a bigger one. So it's a sizable number for sure. And for Ohio State, I mean, the good news is it's really just like kind of a week off. You just hope that there's no injuries, nothing happens from that standpoint. But then I kind of say, you can't, people were up in arms this week. They're talking about Jeremiah Smith back returning punts, and they're like, "Well, how can you do that? You can get him hurt." And I'm like, man, my opinion is you only have these guys for a limited amount of time. I'd play Jeremiah Smith on defense. I'd use him as the place kicker if he could. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to use him every single which way. Injuries are part of the game, but you know something, I'm not going to live in fear of having something like that. If they think JJ Smith increases our chances to win 1% by being the punt returner back there, you know what? I'm making him the punt returner back there. But that's just I mean think about in your lifetime covering Ohio State football, how many times have we really had a catastrophic injury on something like that? I mean,
Right.
well, it's always the fear. It doesn't really happen that often. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I'm going to get as much as I can out of these guys, and I'm not going to worry about stuff I can't worry about.
No, I agree, Nevada. It's ridiculous. Think about this. Think about Caleb Downs last year. There were people when they heard that he may get reps at running back or return punts, they freaked out. Now listen, I don't think we were ever saying we were going to run Caleb Downs 5 times a game or 10 times a game or whatever. But you see, he returned the first punt since Jalen Marshall. Long time. Okay, almost 10 years. Well, actually 10 years exactly. So I agree. It's just like, listen, we've seen guys get hurt on non-contact injuries, just planting into the turf. It's just like it's football. Yes, you don't want to just do something completely reckless that increases the chances, whatever that is. But yeah, man, you can't live in fear on the football field. You just can't. So I agree with you on that. But real quick, I'm going to play this clip about 45 seconds from the Grambling coach being asked about Ohio State.
Ohio State beat Texas 14-7. I mean, just what's your initial thoughts on the defending champs?
Well, first of all, they got a great band. We have a great band, and we're gonna compete as a band. But I'm just joking right now. We understand what we're getting into. We understand what's going to happen. We understand it's not balance in the scholarships. It's not balance in what they have resources wise, what we have resources wise. But we all know why we're playing the game. And I spoke to the coaches today and said the game better be clean. It better be clean. And clean to me is that we don't have 9 people on the field. We don't have 13 people. It's clean. We play within the system, and we swing. You know.
All right. So were you able to hear that, Nevada?
I did. I did.
Okay. Okay, because the volume's a little low. But first of all, look, I appreciate his humor and his honesty, because you don't get many coaches who come on and just keep it a buck with you. Like, we know what this is. We know, he said, we know why we're playing the game. Like, this just be honest. And then he said after that, which is weird, Nevada, on social media, and this is what I mean by people are goofy. So many people try to act like he was being disrespectful, calling Ohio State dirty because he said we got to play clean. He was talking to his coaching staff, and then he went on and elaborated about what he meant and said we're not going to have 9 guys in the field or 13 guys in the field. He was talking about his team. Basically, he said, y'all, we're going there to get paid and get killed. Now, let's be responsible for our guys to make sure we play clean and hard. That's what he was saying. Okay, but anyway, I played that because, to your point, Nevada, about should we let off the gas, he knows what it is. Now, obviously, he doesn't want to get beat 100-0, but he knows what it is, Nevada. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, how much do you let off the gas? And it's just like you gotta handle business. Lincoln needs reps. Tavian needs reps. These guys need reps. And if it results in scores, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I mean, Julian needs reps. I mean, how much did you feel like Julian let a rip tater chip last week? No. I mean, we were keeping. He didn't throw the ball more than 8 yards down the field the whole game against Texas. That was his furthest pass down the field.
Yeah, until the tape play.
Oh yeah, the tape play, exactly. So it's like, I mean, we got to move the ball. You know what I'm saying? He's got to throw the ball around. You know what I'm saying? We got to establish, timing. And I know we're doing it in practice, and I know we're doing it in scrimmages and stuff. But man, this is a game opportunity. You've got to develop some timing, throw into some tight windows, do some things, move the ball around. So yeah. And as for the comment, it's funny because I had heard people going to the comment like he was, admonishing his team to not play dirty or something. And it was like, it's so obvious what he's saying. He's just saying,
Right.
when you say play clean, you're just talking about you don't want to look like a disorganized mess out there.
Thank
You know what I'm saying? Like that. You know what I mean? Like, you want to go out there and you want to compete and put up a good front and do the whole thing and stuff like that. He wasn't talking about we're not going to be like the Philadelphia Eagles and spit on them before the game or do what, have 15 personal fouls or whatever the heck that mess was last night on Thursday Night Football. But no, they just want to play a clean game in terms of just going out there and be organized, be in control, run solid plays, have a defense. We're not just releasing guys and letting them go, scot free and things like that. And
Right.
I mean, yeah. I thought his comments were spot on. I'm sure he's talking to his team. He's saying something. I'm sure he's giving them the old "let's shock the world," Appalachian State. Let's, why not? He should be saying that. And for Ohio State, as you pointed out in the opener, this is a different kind of challenge. This isn't Texas. This isn't number one. This isn't shutting up Paul Feinbaum or the talking heads or the people in Las Vegas. This is about you. How much can you take a step from game 1 to game 2 and get better? And that means defensively, can we be even clampier and disguise our coverages even better and be more gap sound and do those things right? And offensively, can we execute? Can we average more than 2.3 yards per carry? Can we throw the ball more than 8 yards down the field? If we can do those things and stay out of don't give up stupid sacks, don't turn the ball over, don't be doing stupid mistakes of lack of concentration, then this will have been a successful game. Whatever the score ends up to be, that'll be a successful game. Now, if it's a hot mess, then it was a waste of time. Then we didn't take a step, then we didn't get better. And I think it's really incumbent upon Ryan Day and staff. And I know that's what they've been pushing for, because a lot of times after a big game like Texas, they'll take it easy. Well, Ryan Day went the other way. He's pushing these guys hard because he wants these guys to take another step and get better and improve against Grambling State. And we'll see if he's successful or not. Ryan's usually been pretty good in these spots, usually had a pretty good handle on his team. And that's what I think. That's what we're going to learn more than anything is what kind of handle does Ryan have on a finger of the pulse of the 2025 Ohio State football team? Can he get these guys up again to at least play a solid all around game tomorrow? That's what I'm going to be looking for.
Yeah, for sure. And people got to realize, man, I know it's just Grambling State, but it's so much more than just I'm bigger and faster than you. Can you run your route correctly? Can you catch the ball? Can we have no drops tomorrow? Do you know your assignment on the O-line? When you climb to the second level, are you getting the linebacker like you're supposed to in this play? Or are you out there lost in a step slow? Regardless of the opponent, all of that matters. Good, clean reps, all of that. So I agree, Nevada. It's just like, but again, in the psyche of a young guy's head, with all that pomp and circumstance and then all this love they've been getting all week, how you going to come out tomorrow and execute against an inferior team? That is a test. That is a test. And just real quick, Nevada, I'm glad you said that, what you thought. I was just irritated because to me, it's a society thing. It's like a microcosm of society. People do not listen. They don't listen. They lack comprehension skills. There's no way you can listen to that clip and think he meant anything other than what he said. but people, like on my page, on my Facebook, Buckeye Sports Talk, B. Moses page, I had several comments, like he's trying to say Ohio State is dirty. I'm just like, what are you listening to? It's just so stupid, man. People are just goofy, y'all. But anyway. So on the screen, I got a list up here. Made a little post using the picture I used for the thumbnail for the video. It is my if a dog's going to bite, he'll bite as a pup list in order. I forgot to add a guy, and I feel bad about it, but whatever. But here's my list, Nevada, in order. And what I mean by this is who I think is going to be most likely to bite the most. This is based off of possible opportunities and just, stuff like that. So number one, I got running back Bo Jackson. I think he's definitely going to get some reps in this game for sure. All of fourth quarter, if not most. I think they'll try to get Turbo in as well. But Bo Jackson. Number two, Devin Sanchez. And again, when I say bite, I mean flash, make an impact, make a play that you notice. And I know every position is not catered towards being noticed per se. That doesn't mean you're not having a good game. I'm just trying to give y'all the criteria here. Devin Sanchez, I can see him not just playing more snaps than we thought like last week, but PBUs, maybe a pick, just a flash play of, that's why he's a stud. Number three, Quincy Porter. I think he's going to score. I got him scoring a touchdown in this game, and I mentioned that in your thread on the scoop board, Nevada. Number four, Tavion St. Clair. I think he's going to get in the game, and I think we're going to see some throws. That's like, that's why we love him type throws. Number five, Dominic Kirks, the defensive end. He was getting off all fall camp. When I saw him in practice, he looked really good. He was continuously making plays. And then I got Epike, the other D end. Same thing. He's baby JT Tuimoloau to me so far. He looks like it, and he's playing ferocious like it. Number seven, Turbo Rogers. His speed, I think he's going to go back for a punt return. Will he be able to return it? Maybe. We'll see. Hopefully he gets some carries. I want people to see his speed and burst. Number eight, Will Smith Jr. He's been killing it in fall camp. He's one of those guys where he may not get a sack. He may not have a flash play, but when you watch the film, you'll say, oh, he's good. You can see how he's going to be good. And one guy I forgot to add, and I'm probably sure I'm forgetting others, as Riley Pettyjohn. I should have added him. He already had an impact last week, knocking 3 guys out on kick return. And so he'll get in the game and get some reps, and we'll see some speed, some closing speed, some filling the gap quick, some sideline to sideline flashing. I think we'll see that in Nevada. I know that was a lot I just threw at you, but what you got on that?
Well, yeah, no, it's a great list. I mean, I would probably, I'm just going to predict. I'm going to move Turbo Rogers up on the list because I think Turbo's going to go off tomorrow.
Okay.
I
Ooh,
think it's the
that'd be
kind of
nice.
game. Yeah, I think he's going to go off. I think he's going to get some burn, and I think when he gets some chance to have some burn, I think he's going to he burn some Grambling guys. And I put Logan George. I know he's not a youngster, but he's a newcomer to Ohio State, and I just have a feeling he'll flash and get some sacks and do some things like that. But that's a pretty solid list. And look, if every one of those players makes a play or something, then that's been a successful week because I want to see these young guys in there. I want to see them, get a chance to do what they can do. And when you get into the meat of the schedule, it's going to be hard to do it. And that's why it was so noteworthy of all those guys that you had. The only one that really, I mean, Will Smith played a little bit, but Devin Sanchez was
Yeah.
really the only. I mean, he was in there when the bullets were flying for real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Out there.
Surprisingly.
So it shows you how highly regarded he is, because that is not typical behavior for a freshman to be out there in a game that big, in crunch time and things like that. So they clearly think highly of him. But I think this is a great opportunity for some of these young guys to kind of, get it done, get some of the nervous butterflies out of the way from playing in front of that many people. And it's going to be fun. Like I said, I look forward to these games for totally different reasons because, I'm more of a. I know there's a lot of people that are like, hey, I want the first game to be Texas and second game to be Alabama and the third game to be Georgia and the fourth game to be Oklahoma. And, I'm like, give me Mercer and Grambling and Furman State and, because I I just I in today's modern 12-team playoff, you just want to get in. You just want to get into the playoff and then you have a chance. And the only way you get out of the playoff, is with losses. You get it. There's no way to get in other than just avoid losses. And so you can have the weakest schedule in the world, like Indiana or Notre Dame or Penn State or anybody, all those other teams, but you'll get in because you don't lose games. And so for Ohio State, I just want to avoid losses. And if you can avoid losses, like tomorrow, there is no tension in my body at all. Not 1% of are we going to lose to Grambling State? It's just a question of how badly are we going to beat them? What's the game going to look like? How organized can we look? How much of another step can we take in terms of doing it? But we're not going to lose. And for me, that's great. I mean, I last week, we were together. We didn't know how that game was going to end up.
True.
And that was slightly terrifying because if we just started off the
Yeah.
season 0-1, man, it's the road to climb into the playoff is really rife with peril at that point in time. Now, we feel like we're on top of the mountain and kind of looking down on everybody. But no, this week, no stress. I like it, and I'm looking forward to see what those youngsters can do.
Yeah, well said. And real quick, they brought Sanchez on a corner blitz last week, right? Did you see that? Nevada? Go ahead. Did you see they brought Sanchez on a corner blitz last week?
I did not see that.
Yep. Number 6. You can't see him because it's delayed. I believe it's on. I don't think it was on the coffee house stunt play. I think it was on a different play, but he came from the back of the screen on a blitz. So to your point about how highly regarded he is, not only was he back there in dime coverage, 6 DBs, they brought him on a blitz. So, yeah, I mean, that's exciting. And so I think this week and against Ohio, we might see that boy get a pick or just something, a sack, something like that. But I thought, because that's not something that I saw at first. I saw it on a replay, and I was like, hold on, is that Sanchez? So, yeah, that was dope. I wanted to point that out. And then also, because you said a lot of good things about the game tomorrow and the competition. And yeah, listen, man, you're right. Winning games is the way to get in now. Right, wrong, and different. You may not like it, whatever. It's the truth. And so the fact that we kind of ventured into that scary world of playing the number one team in the country with the risk of losing and getting behind the 8 ball for the season and came out victorious is just glorious. Look at me rhyming. So yes, we are sitting on top of the world right now. It's funny because, again, it's a continuation of winning all those straight games in the playoffs. You got people doubting us coming into the Texas game. You got Michigan fans basically saying we're going to have 4 or 5 losses this season, and Texas is one of them. So that doesn't happen. And so just as a fan, I'm just saying all the stuff that we kind of got to sit back and laugh at and enjoy. And then, of course, we get to see the team up north hopefully get knocked off by the Sooners in Norman tomorrow, which could just add on to the pile of just glee as we get ready for Ohio. And you know what I'm saying? So it's a really, really good time. But yes, tomorrow the objective is everybody get in there, execute from saying to the starters to the backups, clean game as far as execution, assignments, all of that stuff, and then no injuries. That's it. That is it. Enjoy a beautiful day in the shoe. And if that can happen, the score does not matter to me. Well, it does matter. 21-0 would be terrible. We got to score more than that. But you get my point, Nevada.
Yeah, no, and like I said, that it just changes the way you watch the game. Look, it changed the way that Ohio State's prepared for this game. But I'm already looking down the road. I'm looking kind of how the schedule's kind of building. And by getting that Texas game out of the way, it's given us a chance to have a couple of weeks, where we kind of get things together, and the rest of the schedule is starting to kind of come into focus now. I mean, Washington didn't. I mean, as scary as that game is, the road game, they're not looking overly tough this year. Wisconsin, another road opponent, they didn't look like all that much last week either. So, at Illinois is going to be tough, and obviously the game against Michigan. But maybe 2 of our 4 road opponents that were looking super daunting are looking a little less so. UCLA is obviously trash, and then Penn State comes here into the horseshoe. So I think the rest of our schedule is starting to come into focus. But that's what's fun about these weekends is you get more data on our upcoming opponents. You kind of know where we're standing in terms of that. And for Ohio State, we're the number 1 team in the country right now. We've got the best win of anybody in the country. It's the best win that anybody will have probably all year, a win over number 1. So to the degree that matters, which is not generally a whole heck of a lot, we're in great shape. And like I said, we can, as fans, we could really, really enjoy the game tomorrow for what it is. And I think the young guys, I mean, believe me, the young guys look at these games and they are chomping at the bit. Well, so the fans may be yawning and going, well, I don't know. Man, I've talked to some of the players. I've talked to some of the parents of some of the players this week. They're excited. I mean, they want to play because they know this is their chance to do something, because you can make a statement. And if you can go out and dominate Grambling State and flash either offensively or defensively, you could make a move on the depth chart. You could make a move for playing when it really matters. So, while fans may think this stuff doesn't matter, I guarantee the players think it matters. And they're the ones that are going to be involved. So I don't expect to see a big drop off when the second, third team goes out there, because this is their chance to shine. And so, the coaches may be calling it close to the vest, or they may be trying not to embarrass them. But I guarantee you the second and third team, they're trying to embarrass them because they're trying to make their marks.
Yep, very, very true. And so will that excitement and chomping at the bit be mixed with execution and and putting it out in the field in a way that's clean? That's the question, because if it is, we're going to see a show. We're going to see a lot of great plays out there tomorrow. And so, again, you said a lot I wanted to touch on. It's funny, Nevada, the course of a week leading up to this next game, you see all the takes and all the narratives and all the spin. I've seen so many people. It's so funny sitting back observing and watching, like I know you do, Nevada. You listen to the shows, you see social media, even on the scoop board. It whatever. And the narrative is just all over the place. It's like Texas was not the number 1 team in the country. It was the Ohio State Texas game was a boring game. It was boring. It was a terrible watch. Neither of these teams look like they're worthy of being elite. I've seen these comments. Like this is not me making this up. These are people saying this, and it's not just Michigan fans. But people hate. They're haters, and it's just like, okay, after week one, you take things with a grain of salt to an extent because you know there's teams get better. Teams get, they shift, whatever, they change. But Texas and Ohio State are elite. They are bona fide top 5 teams. Can both lose a game, another game, sure. But this notion that Texas is not a good team is just like, come on, dog. Texas is a very good team. Yes, Arch did not play well, partially because of what Patricia did, and partially because it was a huge stage and he had only started against 2 cupcakes, which is what we said. We expected him to struggle and for Patricia to put him under some pressure. But Texas is going to be just fine. Okay. Again, there's no other team, Nevada, that I saw so far that just scares me. There's been years where I've seen like an Alabama team. I'm like, oh, somebody please knock them out because that's going to be a tough win. I'm not saying there's going to be easy wins out there. I'm just saying nobody scares me, especially after beating Texas. And so, hey, we got a lot of ball to play, but 1 week at a time. And I am on cloud 9, Nevada. And anybody out there watching, haters, you can't tell me nothing right now. This team is going to be, in my opinion, I've already predicted before the season we're making the playoffs. I wasn't predicting another natty because it was too early, didn't have enough information. But getting to the playoffs will get us in position to get to the natty. So that's my prediction. Playoffs and beating Texas, to me, is a virtual lock. We're not losing 3 games to be knocked out of playoff contention. It's not going to happen. So that feeling alone is just glorious, Nevada.
Yeah, no, it does, but it shows the peril of these early season, big out of conference games, because let me turn that around. You go 0-1 in this, first game of the season, and the entire narrative changes. You know what I'm saying? Like, the happy Ohio State board becomes the unhappy board, and the sure path to the playoff becomes the, oh my gosh, I'm not sure if we're going to make the playoff. And is it worth it, man? Are those big games, as fun as they are, as exciting as they are they worth the potential downside of pushing yourself behind the 8 ball, right off the bat in that situation? And I don't know if they are, and I know, if there's an old John Cooper used to say Ohio State fans love to gamble, but they want to do it with your chips.
Right.
That's kind of how I feel about those games, man. The fans want to have those games, but heaven forbid you lose one of them. And that could make for a very difficult season, very challenging season, and in a very difficult environment. But we're just so blessed that we've got a hot coach right now in Ryan Day, who's Ryan Day has run off 6 straight top 5 opponent victories. I just don't have words for how good that is. And for a coach that was supposedly not a particularly good big game coach, it's a crazy stat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an obscene stat. It'd be an obscene stat for anybody. I mean, that's a stat that you have when you talk about Saban or Meyer. I'm not sure
Right.
Urban Meyer ever did that. I don't know if Nick
He
Saban
hasn't.
ever did that, but
He hasn't.
yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's so the fact that Ryan Day is able to pull that off in terms of doing that, man. Um, I just think that we are so fortunate because we've got a young head coach who's clearly got his swagger. He's figuring it out. He understands how he's got to do this in these big games, and he's got the winning formula, and he believes. And I never believed for a second we were going to lose last week. I thought from the first possession on, after we shut them down, got the ball, I just felt like, man, we're in control. Even though the score was close, even though it was 7-0 at halftime, and 14-7 late, I just felt like we were going to win that game. And that's kind of the belief that I think that team's playing with, and that's a reflection of the head coach and really a reflection of the great job that Ryan Day's doing with this team.
Yeah, definitely, man. Ryan Day still doesn't get the credit he deserves or the love. And so, it's one of those things where you can't make people respect you, and listen, we laugh at Lou Holtz, but you can't make Lou Holtz show love and respect. You can't get, scum fans to bow down. They're idiots. It is what it is. I mean, listen, real heads recognize what this man has done. Jonathan Wells said that it was the greatest turnaround after losing that Michigan game to go on that run. I think it's the greatest turnaround in general, as far as the not being able to win big games narrative to being the big game coach. Like literally overnight, that happened. It's crazy. And so, but yeah, he has the glow. He's hyped up. He's pumped up. And real quick, you mentioned the schedule. I still got it up. I'm gonna say this quickly. I've been watching some of the other games. Look, I know it's week 1. Okay, so hear me out, Penn State fans. I'm not saying you looked bad against Nevada. You did not. But Nevada, it's funny. They're playing Nevada. They looked like Penn State. They did not look special to me. They looked like a typical good, tough Penn State. It's going to be a tough team to beat. But I know it's Nevada, and I know some of their fans that say they were very vanilla, maybe so. But I just, with no Tyler Warren, no Carter, number 33 is really good. I get that. Your backs are really good. Aller has a big arm. But I just didn't see anything that seemed any different than past years with Penn State, Nevada. I don't know how you feel about that.
I feel like Aller's asthma, dude, and I think that when he gets in those big games, he is not big game Drew Aller. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
His performance in the stadium, not last season obviously because we played him on the road, but the year before was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. And this isn't about, I just think you either have to make he is Christian Hackenberg to me, because Christian Hackenberg, I never got it. Everybody was just like all over the moon. Christian Hackenberg, top draft pick, Christian Hackenberg, and I would watch him and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand what all the hype's all about. And he turned out to be not that good. And I feel it's the same thing with Drew Aller. It's kind of like, that's great that Drew Aller can go out and throw it against whatever, but whenever there's a big game, and it's not going to get much bigger than him coming into Columbus. And you and I experienced what the atmosphere was like on August 30th. Can you imagine what it's going to be like in November when they come into the Horseshoe?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, I can't even imagine how hyped the crowd is going to be for that one, or how loud it's going to be, or what a difficult environment that's going to be. And Drew Aller has not demonstrated an ability to play in those situations. So I think in a situation with a quarterback, you talk about the attributes you want for a quarterback. It's funny because on our board they were talking about Bryce Underwood, and they were talking about, wow, he's got a big arm, and I'm like, man, big arm is like literally like the last attribute that I want. I want calm, cool,
Right.
collected, makes good decisions, puts the ball accurately in good spots, keeps it out of harm's way, doesn't turn the ball. I mean, those are the stuff that I'm looking for. And Drawler, he's got an uncanny knack for when the game's on the line for throwing that inopportune pick. He's
Yeah.
done it his entire career. He did it last year in the playoffs, and I just think that he'll do it again. And so I just can't take Penn State seriously with James Franklin, with Drew Aller, with no real weapons on the outside. And you lost your all-world tight end, you lost your everything defensive player, and in Abdul Carter, and I'll take Matt Patricia over Jim Knowles head to head, especially in the first year of the system for
Oh,
Jim
yeah.
Knowles at Penn State. I'll take Patricia all day long, and I like our chances.
Me too, man. That's another element we can't talk about enough, is that Patricia versus Knowles matchup. The X against the new boo. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. They got to come here. A part of me, Nevada, is just like, if I'm a Penn State fan, is the thought of losing to Ohio State again when you brought back all these seniors is just mortifying to me. And listen, the game still has to be played. Okay, we know that Penn State is always, always tough. They're going to fight us. All of that. They're going to pull out all the whatever. But like you said, man, I need to see it to believe it. This team will be ready. You best believe. Ryan Day can talk about he respects Jim Knowles all he wants, and I'm sure he does because he helped us win a natty. But you best believe this coaching staff got something to prove with that whole mess. And I cannot wait. It's going to be must-see TV. I wish that game was at night too. That would just be beautiful. But one last thing before we get to a couple super chats and get up out of here on Friday. I wanted to ask you quickly about the Michigan-Oklahoma game. Michigan fans, from what I saw, are just super duper confident about this game. I mean, this is like consistent what I've seen online is that, except for Steve Diaz, he picked them to lose, but he typically does that. But everyone else, they got to win. It's just by how much. And so what are your thoughts on that game? Your boy, I don't know why I forgot his name that quick, the quarterback, starts with an M. You remember his name, the quarterback?
The Oklahoma
quarterback.
I don't remember. It's Venmo guy, the guy that had the public Venmos about gambling and did you see that?
Mateer.
Mateer. He was the one.
Yes,
He was the one who had
did.
he had the one about the transaction for reimbursement for USC football NCAA bet. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what in the world? How did it get out of that one anyway? Like, what was that all about? That was
I guess they looked into it and there was actually no evidence of actual betting. It just appeared like it, which was just like, bro, it was stupid. It's like, what are you doing? If this is true and you didn't bet and it's just on your Venmo, what are you doing? Didn't you learn from Connor Stallions
exactly
with the Venmo stuff? But I saw a little bit of Oklahoma. They beat Illinois State 38-3. He wasn't flawless, but he was good. He can sling it and he can run. It's going to be at Oklahoma at night. Look, Michigan, they have some good things versus New Mexico, but they also have some. Hold on, y'all struggling against New Mexico. Underwood is a freshman. He's not going to be at the friendly confines of the Big Blouse. Yes, he has a big arm. He made some good throws, but I just don't see it. I mean, all hate aside, Nevada, I don't see them going up to Oklahoma and winning. And I'm not even saying Oklahoma's a great team. I think they're better than last year, and I think Mateer is a good player. But I just don't see them going up there executing enough to come out of there with a win. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm betting Oklahoma in the game, and yeah, I think that for Michigan, I think Michigan's that typical kind of front runner team. It's like their whole organization's that kind of that way. They can play good at home against outmanned, overmatched opponents, but get them on the road, and they have to have face a little bit of adversity. And let me tell you what, Oklahoma at night is not a pleasant place to play. That's going to be, they get it going down there, man, and that's a big game for those guys. And I think the Boomer Sooner thing will get going, and I think it's just going to be an avalanche. And I think Underwood will turn it over 3 or 4 times tomorrow. And I've got Oklahoma winning big in that one. I don't think there's any reason that game needs to be close, and I don't think it will be close.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they can bottle up Hayes, and your boy from Ohio, from Cincinnati area, if they bottle their run game up or at least limit it, which I'm thinking, again, they played New Mexico. So I'm not let's see. I mean, Alabama fans was like, peace to Justice Hayes. Like they when he left, they was like, cool, bye. I'm not saying he's trash. He looks solid. He's a solid back. I'm not ready to crown him like he's just some dog just yet because he ran all over New Mexico. We'll see. But if they bottle up that run, it's a wrap. They're not stopping Mateer. I just can't see that their defense stopping Mateer. New Mexico did some things on both sides of the ball that I would be concerned about if I was a Skunk fan. So anyway, listen, let's get to some super chats, man, and get ready for tomorrow. So the first one here, Ian Bates, thanks for the $4.99. Time to have an honest convo about Brandon Ennis and Milan. Brandon Ennis lacks the short area quickness for the slot and looks slow versus Texas. Can't do the Julian Fleming and C-Tate part 2. I don't know what you saw, Ian. I don't know what you saw. I didn't see anything on my rewatch that made me think Brandon was short. I mean, I'm sorry, was lacks the short area quickness. I mean, he dropped the over-the-shoulder ball. That was a tough catch. It would have been a tough catch, but a seasoned Abuka makes that catch, and I believe a Brandon Ennis with more reps will make that catch. But I mean, he caught a crosser. It was short for the first down, but he didn't look short on that. I mean, I keep saying short. He didn't look slow on that play. I didn't see anything in that first game against Texas, Nevada to say, aha, he's not quick enough. I just didn't. So in my opinion, give him some time. We haven't seen enough. Nevada, what you think?
I think we haven't seen enough, but it's been my concern about
Yeah,
Ennis for a
I know
while. You and
you a
I have
big
had this
concern. Yeah,
conversation. I've been concerned about Ennis, and look, nobody wants Brandon Ennis to be good more than I do. You know what I'm saying? Like I want Brandon Ennis to be that guy. I just think that when he gets the opportunity to be that guy, he's got to catch the ball. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I'll say the same thing for Max Clare. I mean, JJ is in a different category because JJ's caught plenty of balls, and it's not like
right.
JJ's got the dropsies. But Max, you got to catch the balls, man. We're paying you a lot of money. You're the All-American tight end. You got to catch the ball. Brandon, you're a captain. When the ball gets thrown to you, you got to catch the ball,
Yeah,
and that's just it. So, let's just say I'm cautiously optimistic that Brandon can be that guy, but he's got to be that guy. So that's
yeah.
that's kind of a mealy mouth answer, but that's where I'm at.
No, I feel you. But the other thing he said is he looked slow versus Texas. I don't agree with that. I mean, even on the play where he dropped the ball, he didn't look slow. He didn't look slow on that play. So I don't know. I don't know. It is way too early. That's your opinion, Ian. I appreciate you. But to me, I need to see more. And against Texas, I just didn't see a slow Brandon Ennis. But we're gonna see, man. We should see a lot of him tomorrow. All right, Chris Lane, thanks for the 5. The chat chipped in for this super chat. Stilly owes a quarter. Go Bucks. Make sure you cash app that quarter, Stilly. We ain't playing with you. Ain't playing with you. That's funny. Nah, I'm looking at the chat. JSN makes that catch. Yeah, again, listen. We're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. It's too early to completely crown someone if they haven't done anything, and it's too early to just throw a guy out, because of a drop, and against an elite opponent. Brandon Ennis has to make that catch. He knows that. I know that. The coaches know that. But we gonna see. All right, it's too early. All right, Nevada. Oh, we got one more super chat too that just popped up.
Well, no, hold on. Steely, we got Buddy out of Steely. We got a quarter out of Steely today.
Well,
Yeah,
no, I think they say he owes a quarter.
he owes it. Oh, I was gonna say he owes it. Well, that's good job, man. We mark this down. This is a big day. Steely, man. You broke your vow, so you're like, I'm not gonna spend any money. Oh, we broke you down. We broke you down. Next thing I'm gonna get B Moses to wear his do rag and come out there. And we're gonna come out there and just put the pressure on you then, and really pressure. But yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
Steely.
I had my do rag on backstage, and I was taking it off. Real true story. I was like, man, the audience is not ready for that yet, but I might bust it out on y'all. You know what I mean? I might take it off in the middle of the show and just brush like I normally do, see the waves popping. But y'all might not be ready for that. But all right. So super chat, Vegas Buckeye, thanks for the 5. VR watch party on big screen tomorrow. Do you think Tegra is on the bench now after the Texas game? OH, Nevada? What you think about that? You think Tegra's on the bench? You think I think he's referring to Ethan, because Ethan came in for Tegra, didn't he?
He did.
Okay.
But no, I mean, look, there's a couple things. One, Ethan didn't exactly set the world on fire. Even though I still, don't write him off. I think he's better on the inside than on the outside. Some smart people told me they think he's better on the outside than the inside. So we'll have to wait and see in terms of where they can do. But I think he is a versatile guy, and I think Taylor, it's just a matter of him getting consistent. And last year we kind of went through the same thing. He kind of went in and out, up and down, and sometimes. But then come playoff time, that rotation really worked for him, and he really shined. So no, he'll still be, but no, under any circumstances he's playing, it's just a question of how much they bring in the backups and how much they try to get some of those younger guys, because this is really one of the games when we've got a deep offensive line room. We probably go 10, 11 guys that are dudes. So we're going to see a lot of new guys there tomorrow, but I wouldn't take that as any type of an indictment over Tigers play, because he was good enough to win. And he'll only get better as the season goes along.
Definitely. And we got Lisa. Thanks for the 199. Impressed with Luke's play in the O-line in general. Yeah, definitely. I mean, everything wasn't perfect as we went over film and saw stuff, but it was overall, they did, against a very good defense, they did very well in their first game. And there was some very good plays and good moments, especially from Luke. He did a great job on some of those plays, allowing for CJ to get through and get first downs and get yardage that we desperately needed in a game like that. So I agree, Lisa, for sure. Listen, one last reminder. They said Nevada's getting stilly. Still Nevada clowning you. Now that was funny. Hey, that's our guy, man. We gotta mess with him sometimes. But as we wrap up here, reminder, we're going to be doing a live watch party for the Grambling State game tomorrow. I'm going to hop on. Nevada's going to hop on. Not sure exactly when I'm going to hop on, but I'm hopping on. So it's going to be fun. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow for that. And listen, we're going to get out of here. Great show. You know what I'm saying? Have fun with y'all per usual. Let's enjoy this game tomorrow. Let's enjoy all the games tomorrow. Go Sooners. And just enjoy a beautiful day of college football. And NFL is back. You know what I'm saying? So B Moses, wear your do-rag tomorrow. I might do that. I might wear like a camouflage, colorful do-rag to really just mess y'all up. But anyway, listen, we're going to head out. Love y'all, Buckeye Scoop family, Buckeye Nation. See y'all tomorrow. Peace. Go Bucks.